SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Treat yourself to Fan and Johnny's, Greenwood's best-kept secret. Enjoy famous crab bisque, fried crawfish pasta salad, Delta favorite fried catfish, hand-cut steaks, and daily specials bursting with Southern flavor. Visit us at 117 Main Street Wednesday through Friday for lunch and dinner. BYOB and ask about private parties. Fan and Johnny's, where every meal is unforgettable.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now I'm a man, way past 21.
Middle of the week, day number 1 of the month of July. Good morning to you and welcome into Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. Streaming online at supertalk.fm. You can watch, if you would like, on SuperTalk TV, of course, on the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and who could forget a dozen SuperTalk Mississippi radio stations all across the state of Mississippi. Appreciate you making us part of your morning routine. Thanks for jumping on. If you are shutting it down for the week and you are not up with us at 6:06 this morning, we understand. We certainly do, and we look forward to you being back with us. Although I don't guess I should say we look forward to you being back with us if you're not listening, because how would you know? Anyway, maybe too early for that kind of a mind pretzel.
Philosophical
out of the gate. Mornings is brought to you by Community Bank. Online at communitybank.net. Community Bank, rooted in our community. That voice you heard was Lance Tolbert's.
Yeah.
He flies this spaceship every single day, and I am thankful that he does. I'm Richard Cross. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I'm the one in charge of the abductions, right? Yeah. Spaceship, SuperTalk abductions.
Abductions and sightings.
That's right. Man, how's it going down on the beach, dude? You having a good time or what? I hope you are. I hope the weather's participating in your good times as well.
Got a little bit of rain yesterday afternoon, which was not altogether bad. Obi and I went and played golf with a friend that lives down here yesterday afternoon, and we had a 2:30 tee time. And I spent a lot of time questioning my sanity, like, why are we going to play golf at 2:30 in the afternoon when the thermometer on my truck says 98 degrees and the real feels somewhere in that neighborhood? And we got out there, and about that time it started clouding up. Breeze picked up. It actually ended up raining on us, and we kind of had to sit under a tree for, I don't know, half an hour or so to, well, it wasn't a tree, but like under a little shed. And, man, it turned out to be great. It was a little humid, but it was breezy and cloud cover, and we had a blast.
Don't ever second-guess your intuition on golf.
That's right. Just go.
Go play.
Just go.
Never know.
Don't be a pansy. Be a tough guy. Okay, it's hot. Well, you sweat, drink water. Let's go. So glad we went. It's been really good down here with some friends. We do this the 4th of July most years, maybe every other year, and really cool to be here. But also cool to be with you and start the day out in a quiet house. Everybody's still asleep, and I get to sit out on the porch and hang out with all of you today.
What about a perma? You were just saying you had a friend that lived down there. I've had several over the years of in my long life that have done the perma vacation. They live at the beach. Could you pull that off? Could you be a perma vacationer at the beach, at, seaside or whatever community? Or is it better, in your opinion, to just go down there, once a year, twice a year, and just enjoy it?
Beach, no. Mountains, yes. Mm-hmm. But that's just me. I don't love the beach the way some people do. I like the beach a lot. Love the salt water. Love kind of the somewhat relaxed vibe. the friends that we have that live down here lived in Birmingham for, until their girls grew up and graduated and finished college and got married. And then they're like, well, we're empty nesters now. What do we do? Let's go to the beach. And they have loved it. It's been great for them. But no, for me, that permanent answer is the mountains. And maybe out west, but like maybe North Carolina mountains.
Okay. Not the Miami mountain.
Wait.
There's a big garbage, thing down there. One of those.
Oh, yeah. No, not.
I remember the first time I saw them. Like, I didn't know they had hills down this far. And the guy was like, "No, that's not a hill, buddy."
Yeah, like Highlands, Cashers, something like that in North Carolina. But you want to drop me in Whitefish, Montana, and say this is where you are going to live out your days? I will say, okay, we'll give it a go. Winters may be tough, but man, the summers and the springs and the falls. Did I mention yesterday? Snowed in Montana yesterday.
Yeah, I went and looked that up, too.
That's crazy. And it didn't kind of snow. It was big snow in that part. 601-879-4395, CC in Senatobia. I know people who can go down there for 3 or 4 days and sit on the beach for 10 hours a day. I am not one of those people. I'm with you. I don't know that I can do that ever. Maybe 6 hours, like mid-morning to kind of late afternoon. But I'm not just going to sit there and not do anything.
I'd have to fall asleep, man. I can't sit still that long. Yeah. I do love the beach, though. It is definitely a slow pace. Makes you kind of, put it in first gear, even neutral a little bit, and then you got to hurry to get to dinner or hurry to do. That's the part I dislike so much when you're down there with like family and everything. They're like, all right, let's go to dinner. And you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, we've only been out to eat one time. We made big grocery store run the first day, and we've eaten at the house for the most part.
Does a ham sandwich taste any better than at the beach? I mean, it could just be like some basic
I like a ham sandwich anytime.
I know, but I mean, something about a beach ham sandwich when you're starving. You're like, man, what do we got? Oh, we got ham sandwiches. Yeah. Best thing ever.
Yeah. Somebody says I'm with you, Richard. It's never quiet on the beaches. I'm headed to Middle Tennessee Hills this morning.
Nice.
Man, there's some beautiful parts of the state of Tennessee.
There are.
Just absolutely gorgeous. Jim and Ripley says, y'all can have the beach. Heat and grit is not my favorite thing. I get that. No. I do. I love the breeze, though.
Jim's not in for the sugar sand scrub. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. I do. Well, you know what? Doggone it. It is a holiday week. I know we got a couple of days left. We have more news in the state of Mississippi today than we will ever get to. We got a bunch of national news, so let's do this instead. Where's your favorite vacation spot? C-Spire text line, 601-879-4395. The one plan from C-Spire is here. Fiber home internet and wireless, only $99 a month for new and current C-Spire customers. One plan, one price, one experience with zero compromises. Get started now at cspire.com/oneplan. That's cspire.com/oneplan. If you got a long weekend or a week getaway with your family, your closest friends, you want to unplug, you want to unwind, where is it for you? Where is the spot? This might help us all discover a new spot. Like, Folly Beach, South Carolina.
Yeah, I didn't know that one.
Not familiar with. Hogman says that New Site, Mississippi is the best spot. JT and Selmer is a Destin guy.
I love Old Destin, too.
I was going to say, that sounds like Old Destin, because if he was a Sandestin guy, I think he would have said Sandestin, or if he was a, Seagrove or Blue Mountain or Grayton Beach. Grayton Beach is cool. That's old school 30A. Eagle Nest, New Mexico.
Here we go. Miramar. Yeah, that's
Miramar
Top
Beach.
Gun, isn't it?
I think he's talking about the one on the 30A part of Man, they're coming in fast.
They're coming in fast here.
We got a Mentone, Alabama here. There's some kids' summer camps that are in Mentone, Alabama, but man, you're talking about beautiful part of the state, northern Alabama. Jason in Starkville's a PCB guy. He says Panama City Beach. Favorite vacation, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, a cabin in the Smokies. He says he and his wife are going in December. That's from Jonathan.
We kept the Holidome in Navarre Beach in business when I was a kid back in the 80s, man. That was the place to go.
Dude, the Holidome hotels were so cool.
Place was there was nothing around it, but, man, you had the Holidome, and that's all you needed.
That great big old indoor pool.
And arcade.
Ooh.
I bring $20 worth of quarters.
Yeah, very good. Deer Camp, Coffeyville, Mississippi. That's from Tim.
I understand you, bud.
I hear you. We'll grab Uncle Clayton's in Oklahoma. That's so good. Oh, that's a reference. Oh, James McMurtry, Choctaw Bingo. Put them kids in. We'll be back right after this.
Yes, I'm leaving here a better man.
Good morning, everybody. Time to wake up.
Time to shine!
Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
She's been playing at a room on the strip for 10 years in Vegas. And every night she looks in the mirror and she only ages. She's been reading about Nashville and all the records that everybody's buying. Says I'm a simple girl myself, grew up on Long Island.
Back with you, Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. Show presented by Community Bank. Online at communitybank.net. Community Bank, rooted in our community. I have a loosely composed rule that we go by here. I haven't the foggiest how we will get to all of the things that we need to get to this morning, but if I specifically ask you a question and then you give a flood of answers on the C Spire text line, it would be really bad form to not read your answers, not acknowledge them. Got all your messages. Thank you. I'm going to try and rip through a bunch of these. Ocracoke Island, or Ocracoke Island, North Carolina, part of the Outer Banks. I have never been there.
I've been out to the Outer Banks. It's beautiful, man. Jekyll Island, St. Simon's area, all that. Oh, man.
No.
I've never been to
north
that
of
one.
that.
Yeah.
North of that.
Okay.
So Outer Banks is like Nag's Head and apparently Ocracoke Island.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about those barrier islands off of South Carolina. Those are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Favorite vacation spot, Buffalo National River in the Ozarks. That's from James.
Beautiful.
Bell Buckle, Tennessee. Oh, that was our Middle Tennessee friend. Rocky and Marks made me laugh. I think he meant Uncle Slayton's in Oklahoma, up by Lake Eufaula. That's our James McMurtry fun that we've had in the past. Debbie in Ocean Springs says Ocean Springs is her spot.
Yeah, I don't
Can't be
blame
mad
her.
at you about that. Just about any mountains. Montana, Colorado, Canadian Rockies. You know, a place that it has become popular that I want to visit at some point, Banff. In Canada. A lot of people have been there. Looks just spectacular. We got a Red River, New Mexico. Mike in Tishomingo says Long Beach in Mississippi is his spot. We get a Miami Beach. A different kind of sand on the beach there.
Yeah. I got to bring that stuff in.
Yeah. little more coarse. You got Joe's down in Miami Beach. Stone crabs are phenomenal. Sandbar on the Pascagoula River.
I like that.
Man, I feel like river people and lake people are kind of one and the same. Maybe there's a little bit of a difference. But the people who go to a lake, and it's my wife is like that. She's like, happy place, lake, period.
I like them all, man. I mean, I just have a good time.
Too.
I just have a good time wherever I go. That's always how I look at it.
All right, grab a few more, and then we will get to other things. The Bahamas, but there's no place like home. Bahamas is beautiful. Water there, so gorgeous. The beach, anywhere. I'm happiest when at the beach all day long. Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, PCB, anywhere in Florida. I have no interest in the mountains. Next one, Great Smokies. That's from Julie and Walnut. Gary and Tishomingo just wants to be in his backyard.
Now, we hadn't had there's nobody going to Vegas yet. Yeah, haven't heard that one.
Have not heard anybody say that the place they go to unwind and unplug is Las Vegas. Telling everybody I'm going out of town and then staying at home with my wife and the phone's off. That's from Jeff in Carrollton.
Nice.
We get a Red River, New Mexico, Arkansas River trout fishing. There you go. And a Veracruz, Panama. All right. Thanks. Appreciate you engaging. That was fun. Hernando, 99 today. Mostly sunny, maybe some clouds, hot and humid. Possible isolated thunderstorms late in the day. Meridian, 98. Hot and humid. Heat advisory in effect. Natchez, 97. Mostly sunny. Hot and humid. Possible stray thunderstorm. Heat advisory likely. Ocean Springs, 93 for your high today. Mostly sunny. Going to be humid. Chance for that heat advisory. All across the state. Hot, humid, heat indices in the 100 to 105 range. These are very common, the heat advisories that we're getting all over the place. Almost everybody's got a chance of a scattered thunderstorm. Those things can just kind of build and pop up out of nowhere, especially in the afternoon. So please, please, please be careful. It's going to be hot. And likely we'll be saying that for the next 2.5 months. Maybe not quite this hot, but probably.
Yeah, just count on it, huh?
Princess Diana would have been 65 today. She was born on this day in 1961. Dan Aykroyd was born in 1952. Saturday Night Live cast, co-creator of Ghostbusters, and the star of the Blues Brothers.
Man, the Coneheads, too, man. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Hey, he seems like one of the nice guys of the SNL cast because a few of those rumors were that they were a little rough to deal with.
Some jerks.
Yeah, man.
Liv Tyler, born on this day in 1977. That would be the daughter of Steven Tyler, the much more attractive daughter of Steven Tyler.
Yes.
Armageddon, Lord of the Rings, and more. Who could forget Pam Anderson, born on this day in 1967, the actress and model famous for Baywatch et al.
Yeah, she's like the lady in the new Naked Gun that Liam Neeson does. It's pretty interesting if y'all haven't watched it, if you're a fan of the Naked Gun series.
Okay.
She's the love interest in it.
Oh, blonde and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whatnot. Tate McRae, born in 2003, the Canadian singer, songwriter, and dancer, rose to fame with You Broke Me First. Okay. Jamie Farr, born in 1934. Maxwell Klinger on the TV series MASH.
What
Klinger.
A strange character they created for him, man.
Carl Lewis, the track and field legend, born on this day in 1961. 9 Olympic gold medals in track and field. One of the greatest athletes of all time. One of the worst singers of the national anthem all time.
Got one for you that's a little obscure, but a lot of blues folks may know it. William James Dixon, Vicksburg, Mississippi, July 1st, 1915. He was born. Made it to 76 years old, passed in Burbank, California, one of the great bluesmen of all time. He was basically what you would consider the second most famous blues man behind, Robert Johnson. But Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Little Walter, Bo Diddley all covered his songs. You may know one called The Hoochie Coochie Man.
Yeah.
I Just Want to Make Love to You, Little Red Rooster, and My Babe. Many, many others. What a heck of a guy. And played the stand-up bass. Yeah, started singing at 3 and 4.
Kind of thumping on the big old thing.
Yeah, but Willie Dixon, what a legend. And
stand-up bass, you had the strings, but it was also like a built-in drum.
That's right, exactly.
The cosmetics entrepreneur Estee Lauder, built on this day in 1906. Born on this day in 1906. Maybe she was built.
Yeah, it could have been.
Sidney Pollack was born in 1934. The Battle of Gettysburg began in Pennsylvania today in 1863. One of the bloodiest and most pivotal battles of the Civil War, marked a major turning point there. 1867, the Dominion of Canada is officially established, now celebrated as Canada Day.
It took them to like the 1980s, wasn't it, before they figured out that they wanted to celebrate it, though? It's like 87. No, 82. It was 82, yeah.
I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, had to make double sure on that.
1898, during the Spanish-American War, Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders charged up San Juan Hill in Cuba. Certainly a famous moment in United States military history. 1908, the Tour de France began, or the Tour de France. They began the bicycle race. I just hope the heat dome gets out before they finish it at the Champs-Élysées, because it's hot there. Long way to go on a bicycle in the heat. Looks like the mountains are the hardest part, but, probably a little cooler in the mountains.
You'd think. Probably maybe a little less on the oxygen, though, huh?
Yeah, perhaps. First Battle of El Alamein began in North Africa on this day in 1942 during World War II, a key campaign against the German and Italian forces. 1946, the United States conducted the first peacetime nuclear weapons test. It was called Operation Crossroads at Bikini Atoll in the Pacific. Post Office introduced the zip code today in 1963 to improve mail delivery efficiency. President Lincoln signed the first U.S. income tax bill to fund the Civil War on this day in 1862. News headlines, a sports update coming for you next. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
That's right.
From the Seabrook.
Start your day right.
Good morning, America. How are you?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
You were the first thing that I thought of when I thought I drank you off my mind. When I get lost in the liquor, you're the only one I find.
It's a pretty good line to start a song.
Yeah.
Sometimes the opening lyrics of a song will kind of catch you. You're the first thing that I thought of when I thought I'd drink you off my mind.
Yes, sir. It gets lost in the liquor,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excellent song. I used to play that one. I think I was 15 maybe when that one came out. Maybe 16. Knew everything. I knew all that album back and forth.
No.
Same with the Alan Jackson, Chattahoochee. All that good stuff. Man, I think somebody mentioned yesterday he's performing his last concert, I think yesterday or today or something like that.
This past Saturday night in Nashville.
Yeah. Man, that's sad days. It kind of ages you when one of your heroes is retiring.
Yeah, I think I read that he has some sort of nerve damage that is causing him to maybe retire a little sooner than he would have otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he pumped out some hits.
Man, he was something. He came on strong, too. I mean, when he hit, there was no ramping up. He was already at the top, it seemed.
No, it was like right out of the gate. It was "Don't Rock the Jukebox,"
Exactly.
and then he pumps out Chattahoochee shortly after that, and never looked back. Ooh, more hits. Alan Jackson or Brooks and Dunn?
Ooh, I don't know.
Are not even hits, like more. I feel like I know every song they ever sang.
Yeah, they're hard to beat, too. I mean, Brooks and Dunn, again, a group that, a duo.
So good.
And, boy, those dudes
so
are
good.
just fun. I mean, it's a fun group, fun band. I don't know, man. That's hard to say, though, who had more hits.
Yeah.
They had, I think, 50 singles that went, 20 of them went to number one on the Hot Country charts.
Brooks and Dunn did?
Yeah. I mean, that's bringing the heat, dog.
Man.
I love the cover they do on My Maria that B.W. Stevenson did, but, My Maria. They just do such a great job of that one.
Wait, that was not an original of theirs?
No, that's a B.W. Stevenson. I played both of them, but, yeah, B-Dub was the original countryman that put that one together. But they covered it and absolutely crushed it. When you cover something, you got to bring it up a notch, right?
Well, and B.W. Stevens is a happy man because he's getting royalties far exceeding whatever he was getting for when it was just his song.
Yeah, he's sitting back going, man, those boys sure did me justice.
Wish they'd done more than one of my songs.
Man, that mailbox money could have been thicker.
All right, here we go. News, and we got a bunch of it, and honestly, not a lot of it's very good. A man on the run from Adams County law enforcement was captured yesterday, more than 2 years after officers began looking for him. According to the Adams County Sheriff's Office, Billy Shane Hembry was found at approximately 3:40 inside an abandoned house on Silver Creek Road in Wilkinson County. Law enforcement came across Hembry while they were searching for another wanted fugitive. Hembry had an outstanding warrant dating back to April 2024 when he was accused of stealing and destroying tens of thousands of dollars worth of AT&T cable wire. He's charged with grand larceny and malicious theft. Two sheriff's department in Wilkinson County and the Woodville Police Department and the Adams law enforcement folks all worked together on that and had really nice things to say about each other, about coming together and working together.
Billy Shane's a rascal, man. I've never heard Billy Shane before as a double name.
What, I don't know what Billy Shane was planning to do with the proceeds of whatever he wrecked and stole from, I'm assuming we're talking about copper wire.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
It looks to me from the picture like he might have planned to take whatever he could get from that and
he's going to invest that in the local economy.
Quickly invest that into his local dealer. Whew,
man.
Well, this is going to make you mad. This is grab the chain and hook it to the hitch on the bumper of your truck and put the other end of the chain on his ankle and let's go for a ride down a long, gravel, twisty country road stuff. A former DeSoto Central elementary school teacher will spend 9 years in prison for possessing child pornography. Mitchell Cantrell, 37, reported to have downloaded images and videos of children under the age of 12 engaging in sexually explicit conduct while simultaneously serving as a school teacher. Content found on his electronic devices included sexual materials involving preteens, toddlers, and infants. He was discovered downloading images to his school computer, during spring break of 2025. He gets 9 years in prison, 10 years supervised release, and must register as a sex offender. The thing that I appreciate so much about what our law enforcement does with people like this is sometimes they get them and punish them while it is still just images on a computer. Because you got him still at the sicko stage, not the violent, ruin somebody else's life sicko stage. Because it does feel like it's a pretty slippery slope for a lot of these scumbag perverts that do this. Hope you have a good time in prison, Mitchell. $11 million in federal relief is headed to Mississippi after a severe weather outbreak from early May. Donald Trump yesterday on Truth Social said, I just spoke with Governor Tate Reeves and informed him that the great state of Mississippi has been approved to be given $11 million in disaster declaration request for severe storms, winds, tornadoes, and flooding. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Tate Reeves, for his part, says, I just spoke with the president. Great talk with President Trump. Really appreciate his approval of my federal disaster request. From the May 6 storms, President Trump loves the people of Mississippi, and he should. We're a great lot.
Hear, hear. Yes, sir.
Mark Wayne Mullen told Roger Wicker and Cindy Hyde-Smith a couple of weeks ago that Trump had said yes on the disaster request, but was waiting for a final damage assessment before allocating the dollars. Wicker and Cindy Hyde-Smith and the rest of Mississippi's congressional delegation, even including Benny Thompson, had all sent a letter to the president asking for this declaration. 8 tornadoes, 26 injuries, 425 homes and businesses damaged across Franklin, Forest, Jefferson, Davis, Lamar, Lawrence, Lincoln, Marion, and Wilkinson counties. That was a rough couple of days, May 6th and 7th. Bond has been denied for the 2 men accused in a Jackson shooting that claimed the lives of 3 people, including a 2-year-old child. Cornelius Carter and Jordan Carter, both who are 28 but are not related, were arrested Monday night and charged in connection with the triple homicide that happened Saturday in Jackson. Municipal court yesterday, according to WLBT television, both fellas have criminal histories. Who could have guessed? And the judge decided they were a danger to society, so they will stay in the clink. One of these cats was wearing an ankle monitor at the time of his arrest. Cornelius is charged with capital murder and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Jordan charged with capital murder. JPD believe that this was a targeted shooting and say there could be more arrests. The previous charges on these, so let's see here. Jordan Carter had previously served 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to kidnapping, in which prosecutors said he abducted a woman at gunpoint. Cornelius had time aggravated assault after striking a Jackson Police Department detective with a vehicle.
And why were they out?
That's a good point. You remember this story from maybe a year ago? A Texas woman accused of putting razor blades inside loaves of bread at a pair of Mississippi Gulf Coast Walmart stores has finally confessed. Camille Benson pled guilty on June 26 to a federal charge of tampering with consumer products. It feels like a more serious charge than tampering with consumer products.
Yeah.
Should be leveled against somebody that's sticking razor blades in loaves of bread at Walmart. Up to 10 years and $250K in fines. See, I told you it was a lot of news. We're back after this.
From the Venable.
Good morning to you there.
Okay, up and at 'em.
Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
$375 million up for grabs tonight with the Powerball. That's $375 million. Estimated cash value, $170.6 million. Smackaroos Mega Millions. There was no winner last night, which means on Friday night the jackpot is $542 million. $242 million, the estimated cash value on Friday night. Mississippi Lottery would like to remind players that the lottery office and claim center will be closed on Friday, July 3rd, in observance of the 4th of July holiday. They will resume regular business hours on Monday morning, July 6th. You can check winning numbers or see if your ticket is a winner by downloading the Mississippi Lottery official app. I will just say to this, I don't mind them being closed on Friday. But when I show up Monday morning with that winning Mega Millions ticket, somebody better be there to answer the door.
You want the big check, too. You want to leave with the big, press board one?
Yes. They say you really don't need to immediately go collect. You need to get your affairs in order, an attorney and a financial planner and, somebody bank-related. If I win $242 million less taxes, so let's say $135 million, $140 million, give or take, I want that in my hands and out of your hands yesterday. I appreciate that we want to make sure that, get it taken care of. Let's just go ahead and get that check to me. I'll figure out exactly how we need to deposit and, where it goes. What would your local bank do? You're only protected, FDIC is like a couple of $1 million for an account.
Yeah,
what would just your local bank, what would community bank do if you just walked in the check and you had in the front door and you're like, hey, I need to put this in my account? $140 million.
Yeah, you'd probably get some really good treatment there. Not that you wouldn't anyway, but anytime you walk in the door with that, they're like, okay, that's a lot of buildings that we can finance and a lot of things we can help the community grow with,
Well, or you say that, hey, I realize that I'm only insured for about $2 million of this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to need you guys not to go out of business in the next week.
Yeah,
I need to get some affairs in order, but I wanted to put this here for now.
A few multiple accounts and different titles and names and stuff to get as much coverage as you possibly can. But one thing I'd love to see on the lottery side,
if you could drop it into a money market with about 3.5% just for the time while it's here, that'd be great.
Hey, you could. I would love to see the ability for lottery winnings to function like a 1031 exchange or a 1035, which is an insurance exchange, where you can basically roll the proceeds before tax into an investment of like or higher value. It would save a lot in taxes. Plus, it would push a lot of money into the markets itself. That's just my opinion. I did 1031s and 1035s for folks, and and you're trying to save money. It helps also because you can go find a functioning business or something that is giving you great interest.
I like this.
And not
they want their tax money.
Yeah, sure. I understand that.
They want it. They want it now. They're going to take it before they even give you the money on a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Morning sports update brought to you by Pearl River Resort online, pearlriverresort.com. I'm guessing that they'd be happy to hold that $140 million check for you at Golden Moon.
Oh, of course.
Could you turn it into 280? Put it on red. Let it ride.
Put it on 00. Yeah. Give me the 00 green.
Yeah, this is a really bad plan. All right, Millsaps College is officially returning to the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference beginning with the 27-28 academic year. That was announced yesterday at the President's Council meeting. Majors will compete in the SAA, the Southern Athletic Association, through the end of this upcoming academic year. For Millsaps Athletics, the move represents a return home The Majors were members of the conference from 1989 until 2012, where they won 22 conference championships while helping establish the league as one of the premier NCAA Division III conferences in the country. So good deal for Millsaps. World Cup scoreboard from yesterday. You had 3 matches yesterday. Norway, they keep on rowing that boat. 2-1, a winner over Ivory Coast. France blanked Sweden 3-0. Kylian Mbappe scored twice. And Mexico, a 2-0 winner over Ecuador. And they will now face either England or the Congo in the round of 16. Soccer today. England and the Congo at 11. Belgium and Senegal at 3. 7 o'clock tonight on Fox from Santa Clara, California. The Yanks against Bosnia. USA! That's your morning sports update brought to you by Pearl River Resort. PearlRiverResort.com. 7 o'clock hour coming up right after the news.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
Wake up! Wake up! Rise and shine!
Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross.
Nice early morning surprise.
On Super Talk, Mississippi.
I try to call you, but on the midnight watch I realize why twice you ran away. Think about how many times I have fallen. Spirits are using me, the larger voice is calling. Whatever brought you and me cannot be forgotten. I have been around.
Elliot, you clearly are in charge.
Yes, sir.
I will never question any of your musical choices. Ever. You have proven yourself time and again. And so when I say I won't question, I won't be like, I don't know about that one.
Uh-huh.
But I do have a question here.
Yeah.
Wednesday is very definitively, it's just kind of earned the reputation of being country and western Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
There are parts of Jimmy Buffett's catalog that arguably could be classified in the country and western category, but I almost feel like Jimmy Buffett is a genre all his own.
Yeah, I believe it.
What is the was there a rationale for Jimmy Buffett on country and western Wednesday?
Yeah, he's a countryman to me. I mean, I grew up with Jimmy Buffett. I always found him more like Caribbean country.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like
again,
Texas
almost
Tornadoes.
like a genre all to himself.
I agree, like the Texas Tornadoes. It's a little bit different country genre. I always embrace that. You know, it has a lot of the accordion in it and a Tex-Mex feel, but it's still country. I feel the same about Jimmy Buffett. It's a Caribbean-style country. Mississippi guy. I absolutely love him. So, you know, and a lot of folks are heading to the beach, so I figured a few little beachy country songs wouldn't hurt today.
Just a thought. Just thinking out loud here. Suggestion, not a demand. Might we, for the remainder of the summer, think about leaving country and western Wednesday as it has become? I mean, it's almost all 90s country, other than the stuff that you roll in. And then perhaps the great Jimmy Buffett gets his own day.
I would love that, honestly. I could listen to Jimmy Buffett all day, every day, and giving him his own day, I think, would be appropriate. So let's roll with that. I mean, what sounds good on a, Buffett's more like a bringing in the weekend kind of guy,
I was
maybe
going to
Thursdays.
Say, at the very least, even if we don't have this as an ongoing thing for the remainder of the summer, I think that we should designate tomorrow, July 2nd, as Jimmy Buffett Bump Music Day.
Cool. I love it, yeah.
Going into a holiday weekend.
man, I'm in. I will go back to the catalog, brother. It doesn't bother me one bit. I had a great connection. My uncle Walt, he kind of knew Buffett pretty well in the 1 year he spent at Southern Miss, and loaned him his putter, if I recall. It was either that or a chipping wedge. And Buffett didn't give the putter back. He, being Jimmy, and wasn't
he had
big
every
time.
intention of returning it.
Of course. I think he ended up at Auburn like the next year or something. He didn't make it back to Ole Miss, so that was a little connection. And then my next door neighbor across the street, same age as I, starting at about 12 or 13, he started taking lessons from Fingers Taylor and harmonica. Ooh. And so we listened to everything Buffett did constantly, and absolutely fell in love with him at a young age. So I could do that. I could play Buffett anytime you want, man.
I would submit to you that the state of Alabama made a significant mistake about a decade ago. Do you remember the license plates that existed in Alabama that had the Stars Fell on Alabama logo on there? They don't do those anymore. Mm-hmm. That was a mistake. And I know we update license plates from time to time because we think we need to update license plates from time to time. But that was really good, and they should not have gotten rid of that.
Yeah.
One of the kind of lower-key Jimmy Buffett songs.
Well, we always we get a couple requests here and there to do a specific day for blues. I do try to do that. When I do blues, I like to play pretty much the whole day or the 3 hours. So haven't a designated day yet for that, but usually it's earlier in the week.
Yeah,
and then we'll look at Buffett late in the week. Thursdays will work perfect for that.
I love it.
Yes, sir. Great idea.
Love it. C-Spire text line is open to you, 601-879-4395, 601-879-4395. We do have a parent head in the office.
Yeah.
Jason in Starkville, I'm sorry, I have to say no to your message. He says play it on Friday, so there's a little something different.
Yeah, we can't, though.
That doesn't work for us, but there's actually a larger reason that doesn't work for us, and it is because of this message when it says it has to be Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday.
I agree.
Not only was that the name of one of his albums, if you go back and you look, overwhelmingly those were concert days on his tours. Mm-hmm. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
We'll roll with Thursday then.
I love it. Love it when a plan comes together.
Yes, sir, Hannibal.
Mornings is brought to you by Community Bank. Ever notice how some places still know your name? At Community Bank, that's how banking works. By the way, at Community Bank, they like Jimmy Buffett. We're a bank that knows community because we live here. And when you walk in, you're more than an account number. No matter what your banking needs are, here you'll talk to real people who care about your goals. Community Bank, a local bank built on relationships. Stop by your neighborhood location or learn more at communitybank.net. Have you ever met anybody that didn't like Jimmy Buffett?
I mean, I haven't personally.
I don't know that I want to meet that person, actually.
I'm not sure they'd admit it,
Mm-hmm. 7 o'clock hour of mornings is brought to you by MWG Employer Services. Running a business is tough, and if you're struggling with HR, benefits, and payroll, you're not alone. That's where MWG Employer Services comes in. They can provide a full range of employer services plus a custom plan that fits you. Give them a call today, 601-206-7966, or go to mwgemployerservices.com. So it has been a busy couple of days as the Supreme Court session comes to an end. And yesterday was another day in the handing down of decisions from SCOTUS, in which there were some wins for the Trump administration and those who like conservative politics, but also a mixed bag. Top of the list, right out of the gate yesterday morning. In fact, right as we were finishing up with mornings yesterday, about 9 o'clock Central Time, the Supreme Court upheld state laws barring transgender girls and women from playing on school athletic teams. The AP writes it in another setback for transgender people. Of course, that's how they wrote it. The court's six-justice conservative majority, which has repeatedly ruled against transgender Americans in the past year, has it? Ruled that state bans in Idaho and West Virginia do not violate the United States Constitution. The court unanimously agreed that barring transgender girls and women also doesn't run afoul of a federal law, the federal law known as Title IX, which prohibits sex discrimination in education. For the court, Justice Kavanaugh wrote, states may maintain women's and girls' sports for biological females. The Constitution and Title IX do not require an overhaul of women's and girls' sports throughout America. More than 24 other Republican-led states have adopted bans on female transgender athletes, and the decision seems certain to extend to those states as well. The entire Southeast has that in place. Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas. Much of the Midwest has bans on transgender athletes competing in girls' sports at the high school level. This is a win for common sense. There was a dissent from Sonia Sotomayor saying the majority opinion was wrong to reject an equal protection claim from 16-year-old Becky Pepper Jackson. She said that while the science is still evolving, transgender students shouldn't automatically be shut out of team sports. Said, we simply do not know scientifically that transgender students pose dangers. Well, no, we don't know that they propose dangers, but we do know that boys and girls are anatomically, hormonally, and physically different. And it is a scientifically proven fact that overwhelmingly boys and men are physically stronger than girls and women. Now, painting with a broad brush there are exceptions, certainly, but allowing a biological male who has decided to go through some sort of change to compete against girls is unfair. Good job, SCOTUS.
From the Venable Glappy.
Super Talk, Mississippi.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here we go. Now back to Mornings with Richard Cross.
Now that's entertainment.
We got winners, we got losers, chain smokers and boozers, and we got yuppies, we got bikers, we've got thirsty hitchhikers, and the girls next door dress up like movie stars. I love this bar.
Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi. Coming up in our next segment, Chris McDonald is going to join us. He is the State Executive Director of the Mississippi Farm Service Agency. We will talk to him about exactly what the FSA office does, what producers in the farm industry are dealing with, what they have received from the big, beautiful bill, and ongoing conversations about the Farm Bill. That is an office that exists either with a physical location or at least a presence in all 82 counties in Mississippi. It is the office through which funding is distributed to farmers through all kinds of programs that they have in place. And it is an office that has to deal with more paperwork and numbers and fine print than just about any other government office. We'll talk with Chris McDonald about that. In the 8 o'clock hour, Judy Young will join us coming up about a little over an hour from right now. She is CEO at Coastal Mississippi Tourism. We'll talk about some of the 4th of July activities that are happening on the coast and some reminders about why coastal Mississippi is a great place for you to consider a vacation this summer. All of that is on the way. So if the SCOTUS decision on transgender people in girls' sports was a win for the Trump administration, there was another ruling that was handed down yesterday from the Supreme Court that would certainly be considered a loss. And that is the Supreme Court upholding birthright citizenship. It's tied to the 14th Amendment. A divided Supreme Court yesterday upheld a broad conception of birthright citizenship, rejecting the president's executive order declaring that children born to people who are in the United States illegally or temporarily are not American citizens. The vote was 6-3. The court struck down the executive order by the president. A bare majority of 5 justices, in an opinion written by Chief Justice John Roberts, held that the long-settled understanding of the 14th Amendment, adopted after the Civil War, makes a citizen of anyone born in the country with very limited exceptions. Those exceptions are children of foreign diplomats. So if you are an ambassador to the United States and your spouse has a child while in the United States, or if you're a female ambassador to the United States that gives birth to a child while in the United States, that child does not automatically receive American citizenship. John Roberts wrote, "Citizenship then and now was the right to have rights, to freely participate in our political community. The framers of the 14th Amendment extended that promise to, quote, every freeborn person in this land, close quote. We need that promise today." Brett Kavanaugh disagreed about the constitutional ruling, but pointed to a federal law that said that he said broadly conveys birthright citizenship. The dissenters were Samuel Alito, Neil Gorsuch, and Clarence Thomas. They would have proposed the restrictions put in place by Trump. In a 91-page dissent, Clarence Thomas wrote, in part, "The court today takes the extraordinary step of holding facially unconstitutional the president's order excluding from citizenship the children of foreign temporary visitors and illegal aliens. In doing so, the court adds to the sad history of the 14th Amendment, which was designed and understood to secure equal rights for freed blacks, but has instead been repurposed for political projects that the Reconstruction Congress did not support." So Clarence Thomas is saying, look, the reason the 14th Amendment was put in place was post-Civil War to grant citizenship to black children who were born to slaves. And as slaves were freed, their children deserved the right to become American citizens. They grew up in the United States. They were born in the United States. Regardless of their parents' citizenship status. This is a hard one. The president responded, perhaps as you would expect. He said, "Today was too bad for our country," and suggested that Congress could easily address it with legislation. The AP writes that the majority decision rests on constitutional grounds, and it would take an amendment to the Constitution to overcome this decision, not just something where Congress could willy-nilly say, no, we're going to put a law in place. So it would take a constitutional amendment to overturn this action. To me, this is complicated. Some of you would say, no, Richard, it's not complicated at all. But when you look at the emphasis on ridding the United States of illegal immigration policies that were largely put in, well, not largely, that were exacerbated during the Biden administration with basically having open borders. And this Trump administration has arduously worked to try and put the toothpaste back in the tube on that. And, you know, the old cliche of the easiest way to get out of a hole when you find yourself in a hole is to stop digging. That's where they started with closing the border. They've gone through deportations. The number is about 30,000 a month on average, I think, is the number of deportations of illegal immigrants. But here's what the part that I say is complicated. It's easy if you say an illegal immigrant in the United States that comes in that is breaking the law by being in the United States should not be afforded the same rights as someone who is here legally or someone who is an American citizen already. Mixed in that, and this would be, I suppose, the complicated part of illegal immigration policy, period, is you do have a lot of good people who are in the United States, who are working, who are trying to make a better life for their families, who are trying to make a better life for their children, who have babies while they are here. And it's kind of the goal. Hey, I want to raise my child in the United States, and when they are born, they will have American citizenship, and that puts them on a path to a better life than they would have had otherwise in the country from which I came, wherever that country may be. Now, the counter to that is, so go through the legal immigration process. If you are here legally, we haven't a problem. C-Spire text line is open to you at 601-879-4395. 601-879-4395. Birthright citizenship is such a BS ruling, it diminishes our own citizenship. A woman can waltz over the border, drop a baby, and that child all of a sudden has the same rights as me. They can even run for president. Are you kidding me? That's from Big Al. It's interesting to watch originalist jurists and textualists twist themselves into knots to dissent in this case. Ron, well, that's kind of more about the birthright citizenship. Hold that one as well. The other piece of this is you do have people from other countries, China in particular, who have pregnant women who are coming to the United States simply to have their child in the United States so that that child can have American citizenship. And there's really not a lot of recourse. Basically no recourse. That child becomes an American citizen, whether that's a good actor, a bad actor, or somewhere in between. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. We are back with you right after this.
From thesebro.com,
It's time to switch on.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Yeah!
Good to be with you on this Wednesday morning, middle of the week, the 1st of July. We are in a time where planting has largely been completed for farmers across the state of Mississippi, row crop farmers in particular, And we'll now transition toward harvest season. To talk about that and a whole lot more, we are joined this morning by Chris McDonald. He is the State Executive Director of the Mississippi FSA, or for people who have been around farming for a long time, the old ASCS offices. Chris, I'm sure you still hear that from time to time. Good morning to you. Thanks so much for your time.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with kind of a high-level or broad overview of what the Farm Service Agency does.
Okay. So basically, within USDA, you've got 6 mission areas, and FSA falls under the Farm Production and Conservation Mission area. And we serve there with NRCS and Risk Management Agency. So we work together to implement all of our programs on the farm.
Is it fair to say that the FSA is the primary way through which federal dollars are distributed to farmers across Mississippi?
Yes, we're basically the gate for the farm. If you are a farmer, landowner, if you want to do anything related to the land, you start with us first. You'll get a farm number and track numbers, and that's your ID for whatever program that we offer and you participate in. So we're extremely busy with all the programs that we administer.
A lot of farmers in Mississippi, this is speaking very broadly, I don't know that farmers generally enjoy coming to the FSA office because, goodness gracious, it feels like it's complicated.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is something that is a lifeline for farmers from the most northern counties to the most southern counties in the entire state.
Yes, and that's one thing this administration, Trump administration, is working on. We're trying to modernize FSA more. I tell people we're kind of stuck in the 1980s at best. I think we have a paper form to fill out for just about anything that you can imagine. I mean, I can do most of my banking on my phone in a couple minutes. And we want to get to, something like that with FSA that you can do if you want to. You can do it online or on your phone or whatnot. But you'd be surprised. Most of our farmers are older, and they want to come to our office and they want to interact with our staff. But we want to provide other options for other people if they don't have time to come into the office, or they can do it on the tractor if they want to. But we're trying to modernize that and be more efficient and provide better customer service to our farmers.
What is the see how to ask this the right way? There at times has been a reputation within the FSA that people are looking for a reason to say no to farmers, but in reality, the FSA, at least as I understand it, is there to support farmers and help them understand what is available to them, what they are eligible for, and to try to make it as easy as possible. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, we've got a program for just about anything on the farm, whether it be our farm loan programs. We got a bunch of different types of loans that we offer, anywhere from ownership to operational to what we call micro loans, just to buy stuff with for the farm, whether it be animals or equipment or whatnot. Then, unfortunately, we've been very busy with our disaster programs this year. 2026 has been very busy. I think I heard you early this morning talking about the tornadoes that came through. We started with the ice storm and tornadoes and drought, and now Tropical Storm Arthur just came through. So we're very busy with our disaster programs. And right now, very important is our price support programs and our safety net programs that deals with support on the farm because of high inputs and lower market value right now. So a lot of work to be done there, but we are there to help the farmer. We've got a really good staff. We've got the farm friendly staff. A lot of my staff are farmers themselves. So I hope it's not complicated for people to come in, but I know it is for some.
In terms of staffing, where are you? So you have a presence in all 82 counties in Mississippi, right?
We actually have 63 what we call service centers across all across the state, and most of them have us, NRCS, and some have rural development in them as well. But we have 63 offices across the state, and at the county level.
Okay.
And well, I will say those county offices report and answer to farmers. Each office has a county committee that they report to, and they are elected. The county committee members are farmers, and they are elected by farmers. So we are a truly farmer-driven organization.
If we rewind to the One Big Beautiful Bill, when it was signed into law, there were certainly things in that were there that were beneficial for farmers. As we have moved past the signing of that bill, what's in it for farmers in Mississippi that is helpful? Are there any specific deadlines that are coming up that are tied to that bill?
Talking about the Big Beautiful Bill, to take that first, probably the most important thing that we're working on for farmers right now is the provisions that addresses pass-through entities and payment limitations. The payment limitations historically has been about $125,000 per entity, and that was increased to $155,000 per year, and also adjusted based on inflation. So because of inflation, that limitation went up to $160,000 per entity now. And one big difference with the Big Beautiful Bill on pass-through entities, just say if you had a farm that was set up with, say, 2 individuals and a LLC, well, the individuals and the LLC would get a payment, so that would be 3 payments. But now it breaks the LLC down per member to where each member can get a payment. Just say if you had a 3-member LLC going from 1 payment now to 3 payments, $160,000 per entity. And most of that's going to be row crop related with their safety net programs, whether it be ag revenue coverage or the price loss coverage.
So does that lead to creative accounting? I mean, are the farmer that has a really good accountant or a good attorney that is helping them set their ownership status up for the farm, is that farmer, does that person benefit more than perhaps a smaller farmer that's just kind of, they've been in the business for a long time and they just kind of go about it the way they've always done it?
Potentially, and I've had conversations this week with several farmers, and that's what they're doing right now. They're huddled up with their lawyers and attorneys trying to figure out what's best for the farm and what's best for the family. But it's going to be a game changer for a lot of people. We're very proud of that provision in the bill.
Is there a limit to the number of members you could have in an LLC?
No. But you do have, you're eventually probably going to get to what we have, the AGI limitation. Once you make so much money in that entity, you may or may not be eligible for that payment. And that AGI is capped at $900,000 currently. That did not change.
So to have when you talk about entities, you might have multiple ownership groups within a single farm. Is that dictated by acreage?
No, it's just how you set your business up. Just like if me and you wanted to go into business together, we'd form a LLC for protection purposes, and it could be 10 acres or it could be 10,000. That's not a limitation there. It's just how you need to set your business up for yourself.
So would it make sense to take a farm and break it up into multiple farms if you've got enough acreage to be able to do so?
A lot of people do that, yes. Yep.
In terms of deadlines, what is immediately on the horizon for farmers in Mississippi?
Immediate right now is our annual crop acreage reporting. That is July the 15th, and that's basically you tell us what you did for the year, and that's going to make you eligible for whatever potential programs coming up. But we're entering.
I'm assuming that's a date that all farmers have circled on their calendar, recognizing the importance of that deadline.
Yes.
Okay.
And a lot of what we do at FSA is the public doesn't see a lot. I have a much greater appreciation for the agency now that I've been here for a year. I thought I knew what FSA did before I got in this chair, but the public they don't have a clue on the amount of work that we do on behalf of the farmer.
Well, if you don't mind, let's see if we can shine a little bit more light on what the FSA does for the farmer and what the public maybe should understand. We'll do that on the other side of this break. Chris McDonald is the executive director of the Mississippi Farm Service Agency. We're back with you right after this.
From the Venable Glass Traffic
Mississippi. Mornings with Richard Cross.
People want to hear the truth, man. That's what we're going to do.
Super Talk Mississippi.
I was only 17 back then, but it seems like I knew more than I do now. I can't say he didn't tell me this city life's a hard road to hoe. It's funny how
good to be with you. It is Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi, presented by Community Bank, online at communitybank.net. Community Bank, rooted in our community. Chris McDonald is my guest. He's the state executive director with the Mississippi Farm Service Agency. And Chris, you said before the break that when you came into this job a little bit over a year ago, you thought you knew what the FSA did, only to realize that even you had a lot to learn and have done so in the past year. You've got a much better, not only understanding, but appreciation for what FSA does, but you're not sure that the public really understands. So can you shine a light a little bit more on that? What people across Mississippi should know about the role that the FSA plays?
Mainly, it's just the number of programs that we have to offer to landowners and farmers. We have a program to help the farmer just about with any commodity, any type of disaster. If you can think about it on the farm, we've got some type of program that help, whether it be cattle, row crops, CRP, Conservation Reserve Program. That's huge for us, especially for landowners that think about conservation and wildlife and natural resources. CRP is a huge program for us, but just the number of programs that my staff implements, it's just seems like every week we're doing something different.
As it pertains to CRP at a very general level, that is, if you are a landowner, there are programs that allow you to put parts of your land into some sort of a conservation easement, which means you can't farm it. In some cases, maybe you can't hunt it, but you're compensated for that. Is that accurate, or are you able to hunt those lands? How does that work?
Yeah, CRP's, it was meant to take marginal ag land out of production and turn it into conservation lands. And yes, you can hunt it. There is no hunting restrictions on CRP lands. Basically, it helps that producer take questionable land out of production and get a rental rate annually, and put some conservation practices on the ground, whether it be contrived fire, proper timber management, grassland management, etc. But that is a huge program for us. I think we've got about 2,000 contracts right now.
Wow,
across the state.
And maybe that's something that makes sense for you. If you are a landowner, especially one that's not farming all of the land or any of the land, it might be something that makes sense. You mentioned this earlier, and it's a refrain that we have heard over and over and over, whether it's from Farm Bureau or our elected officials or whatever, and that's input costs are incredibly high and prices are not keeping up with them. And when we talk about input costs, we're talking about seed and fertilizer and fuel and equipment and all of the things that go into what it costs a farmer to get a crop into the ground and then ultimately out of the ground as well. Does it feel like there is any movement toward relief? Like prices are perhaps starting to catch up with input cost? Is there anything that you can speak to on that?
Yeah, just yesterday, the President and Secretary announced some relief on fertilizer prices. Going to provide some relief there. But one thing about farmers here across the nation is they don't get to set their prices.
Right.
If you and I are in a different business and we're selling a good, we can adjust our prices and if we're selling a good, and we can make it up if inflation goes up or inputs go up. We can make that up, but farmers can't. Most of our farmers do not set their prices. So the administration, president is working on trade deals and trying to get some relief there, but unfortunately it just takes time. And last administration didn't do so good on trade deals, and we're trying to correct that and help our farmers.
In terms of the last, century and a half, Mississippi was cotton country, right? I mean, cotton was king in Mississippi. It was king in the Mississippi Delta. The number of acres that are being farmed with cotton now compared to even 20 years ago is just a fraction. Is that concerning for you that Mississippi's cotton production is so down, or is what has been made up in beans and corn and other crops kind of offset that and it's okay?
Actually, cotton's looking pretty good this year. Prices are rebounding, but I think, I've got synthetic clothing on. You probably got some synthetic clothing. We don't wear cotton clothing like we used to. And there's a big push from Senator Highsmith and Secretary Rollins to bring cotton back. But yeah, it just depends on what the market is for the year, and that's the farmers are going to go with the highest commodity that they think they can make a dollar on.
Especially if it costs less to produce. No doubt about
and
that.
Nothing is cheap to all their inputs. Cost per acres. Nothing is cheap today.
Sure. Again, July 15th is the deadline for certification. Is that right?
That is correct. Another deadline is September the 15th. If you're going to change your entity as how you operate on your farm, that's the deadline to get that operational plan to us.
And if you have questions about that, go see your local county director at the FSA. Chris, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
What are we going to do? Rise and shine with information and insight.
Check it out.
Mornings with Richard Cross. Super Talk, Mississippi.
Well, my daddy never wrote in the old famous country songs. Papa never stayed out raising hell with the Haggard Jones. But he raised a proud coal miner's daughter, and I'm proud to be her son. She told me, boy, I don't care if you hit it big, because you're already number one.
Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday morning, middle of the week, hump day, however you want to describe it. Today is July the 1st. It is the beginning of the second half of the 2026 year on the calendar. Pretty good first half of the year, right? January through June, we've had a lot that has happened. We have not been short on things to talk about with you, and look forward to the second half of the year as well. Alongside Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. Mornings is brought to you by Community Bank. When it comes to money, trust isn't automatic. It's earned. That's why Community Bank does things the old-fashioned way. When you come to us, we take the time to listen to you and discuss any questions that you may have. Whether you're saving, spending, or planning ahead, you'll find bankers who know the community because they're part of it. Community Bank, banking designed with you in mind. Visit us in person or online at communitybank.net. Tell you another group that operates with you in mind. That is the group that is at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota on Highway 6 West in Oxford. They are friends of mine. I have been a customer of theirs for, Lance, 25, 27 years now. And if you do business with somebody for 27 years, obviously the business that you are working with is doing something right.
Yeah.
And there is no bigger compliment in my mind that you can give to somebody in the automobile industry other than saying that they are honest. and they are going to do everything they can to get you the best deal that is available, and that's what happens at Belk Ford. For a little while longer, they still have employee pricing going on, which means the price that you see on the window sticker is not the price that you will pay. And in some cases, you might find as much as $10,000 in savings off the sticker price on the window. You want to learn more about employee pricing, you want to find out what they've got on the lot, you want to talk to somebody, go to belkford.net. You can get all of their contact information or stop by and see them on Highway 6 West in Oxford. If you want to be in the best-selling truck in America for 49 years, the F-150, then check them out. They've got a great selection available to you right now. That's belkford.net, Highway 6 West in Oxford. I cannot give them a higher rating, and I would tell you to check them out as well and tell them you heard about them on Mornings with Richard Cross. I certainly would appreciate that.
They've been around for a while. I remember
years.
Yeah, I remember when I'm so old that I remember when there was a building downtown still.
Yes.
Yeah. Brings back good old memories because my grandfather was a Chevy Olds dealer in McGee, and the old dealerships were so different than they are today. I mean, it's just a night and day difference.
It was, I don't know if originally is the right word, but for the longest time, Belk Ford was a Ford Mercury dealership. Mercury went away as a brand. Now they're Ford, and they, of course, have got Oxford Toyota. My good friend, the late Charles Walker, maybe that's where I first began my love affair with Ford trucks. We talked about it. Charles loved to get a new truck and did so, every, 5, 7, 10 years, whatever it was. But he would order a truck, Lance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so he would get it exactly the way that he wanted it. And his office was on the square, and Belk Ford at the time was on the square as well. They were down where Lenora's and the Oxford Creamery are, kind of that part of the square. And Charles would say, I would kind of know when their shipment of trucks were coming in, and he'd kind of walk out of his office and down the street and peek around the corner and go, hey, is that mine that's coming in? The last truck that he bought was I may be off 1 year on the year model. It was either a 1996 or 97. It was before the new style Ford F-250s.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the older style. It had that big Power Stroke diesel, and he ordered it in a 5-speed.
Really?
Yes. He loved driving that manual transmission on that big old diesel truck. And, man, I have a friend in Oxford that owns that truck that bought it when Charles passed away. And I still see it driving about from time to time. So in terms of customization,
mm-hmm.
The handles that sometimes we call the O-Poop handles?
Oh, yeah.
He had those installed, but instead of being overhead, they were kind of where the windshield comes down. I'm not sure what brace. So those were custom. Charles wore a cowboy hat, and so he had a spring-loaded, fold-down cowboy hat holder that was attached to the roof so that you'd put the hat upside down where the hat part of it was down, and then the brim was kind of flat against that.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a custom bumper. I think Mike McGregor built the custom bumper. And on the end of that, there were a couple of nipples. You could pop an air hose onto the bumper, and it doubled as a portable air tank.
That's cool.
How useful is that?
Yeah.
Just spectacular.
Well, and you were talking about Mercury. Who are you remember the song "Crazy About a Mercury," right?
Yeah.
Alan Jackson, the original artist, 1948, blues artist Casey Douglas and Robert Geddens, the ones that put that together. But other artists actually covered that song. Obviously, no one made it sound as good as Alan Jackson, but think of this. Steve Miller Band, David Lindley, and Dwight Yoakam all covered that song. And you remember the Alan Jackson version.
Gonna buy me a Mercury and cruise it up and down the road. That's the one.
That's it.
That is the one. Note to self, anybody that can drive a manual transmission in Oxford, Mississippi is an excellent driver. There aren't many of them out there anymore. I mean, it almost has to be a special order.
If you can drink a cup of coffee in a 5-speed, you're a master.
Yeah. That's what I learned to drive on. 5-speed Nissan. And those shifted pretty easily.
Yeah, mine was
do you remember the trepidation the first time you drove a manual transmission and you had to stop on a hill and you were going to have to start from scratch uphill to turn into traffic?
Oh, yeah, that jugular vein or the vagus nerve in your neck just starts throbbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember those days.
I think about Buchanan in Oxford turning onto South Lamar, sitting there, and people would kind of go fast going down the hill, but then you get stuck at that stop sign when you were coming up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's either Buchanan or Fillmore. I think Buchanan. And if I was turning right, or especially if I was turning left, so I had to go across a lane of oncoming traffic to turn left, man, that was – and then once you learned how to do it, it was no big deal. But, finding that mesh point where the clutch and the gas are – that's when you knew you were good, where you no longer had to rely on the brake. Now, they didn't advise that for longevity with the clutch.
Right.
But if you had the ability to sit on a hill and
rock
keep the idle low, but keep the clutch not fully engaged and the gas pedal engaged just enough for it just to sit there, you were in a good spot at that point.
Oh, yeah, I like to rock it a little bit,
Yeah. Getting the boat out of the water required the granny gear. There are a lot of people, Mose, that don't know what the granny gear is. Granny low, people would call it sometimes. I drove a 5-speed Datsun. It was a 1981 200 SX. Put it in neutral on the hill. There you go. The absolute best anti-theft for a vehicle these days, manual transmission.
There you go, exactly.
Yeah, somebody breaks it. They might smash your window, but then they look in and they see that gear shift, and they're like, nope, they're going to have to replace the window, but I'm not taking this car.
I loved the 5-speed. I learned on a 4. We had the 4-on-the-floor 76 Chevy, and low was so low that you just didn't even use it. You just skipped that one. Probably could go straight into second.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wore out a few clutches on that thing, man.
Rockin' B says, "Don't ride that clutch, boy." No, I'm with you. And look, this is we're so far off the reservation, but that's okay. I heard over the road drivers talking about double clutching,
and
that was easier on the transmission. And at least as I tried it, and I never could quite get the hang of it. Not in a big truck, but like just in a smaller vehicle. But the idea was you would clutch, disengage from whatever gear you were in, hit the gas to kind of rev the engine up, re-clutch, and then shift into the next gear. And I guess that was about getting the RPMs up where it didn't have to work its way. I never quite understood what the purpose was on that. Oh, this guy's going back as well. I learned how to drive on a 1975 K5 Blazer with a 3 on the tree.
Yeah, we had a 72 back in the – no, it's 69. That's what it was.
That's where you're talking about a manual transmission that was on the column instead of in the floor.
You got it.
Good morning from the...
Hey, how's it going, man? The news you need.
Every 10, 15 minutes, there's something.
The talk you love.
They really talk about the things that matter. I'm into all that stuff.
Mornings with Richard Cross. Super Talk, Mississippi.
Maria, there was some blue and sorrow time. Just my thoughts about you bring back my peace of mind. Gypsy lady, you're a miracle work for me.
If you weren't paying attention, you might think Brooks and Dunn, but not so, says Lance Tolbert.
Yeah, that's B-Dub right there, man. The original My Maria.
Pretty good. But if you made me pick, I would go Brooks and Dunn there.
Yeah, I mean, they're amazing. You don't get to that level without just banging it out all the time.
So for the last 2 days, we have had decisions handed down by the United States Supreme Court The other thing that we have gotten is a look ahead to next year's calendar. One of the things that the Supreme Court has the authority to do is to decide what cases they will entertain and what cases they are going to pass on. The Supreme Court does not have to accept a case just because it is appealed to them. Yesterday, we found out, or maybe it was yesterday. Yesterday we found out that the Supreme Court is going to take up a case that will draw a lot of headlines a year from now. They agreed on Tuesday to take up whether possessing an AR-15 or similar assault-style rifle is protected by the Second Amendment. A major gun rights case that is set to impact bans passed in roughly 10 states. The justices said that they would hear challenges to bans enacted in Connecticut and Chicago. The case is set to be heard next term. At the center of the battle is whether AR-15s and similar weapons are entitled to the Second Amendment's protections. In defending their restrictions, the states argue that they don't qualify as arms that people have the constitutional right to bear. Now the Supreme Court is going to possibly provide a nationwide resolution. Oral arguments expected to kick off in October, likely with a ruling coming by next year. The National Shooting Sports Federation estimates that roughly 32 million modern sporting rifles are in circulation. Various state bans have rippled through the judiciary, particularly since the High Court's conservative majority handed down an expanded Second Amendment test, which requires a historical analog for a modern gun control measure to be upheld. Each law defines them differently, but 10 states have passed assault weapons bans, according to Every Town for Gun Safety, a group that supports strengthened gun control measures. The High Court sat on the request to get involved for months with no announcement, and then yesterday we found out that they would hear this case. At least as we sit here on July 1st of 2026, my gut is that this Supreme Court is going to say it is unconstitutional to ban the sale, ownership, or possession of AR-15 and sporting assault-type rifles. So what is the argument for banning them? One that you hear, certainly not one that I think holds much water, is, well, they look like machine guns. They look deadly, for lack of a better way to describe it. And that's accurate. They do. Especially when you find somebody that has customized an AR-15, where they've got the rail on top of it, and they've got some sort of an optic on it. They've got a flashlight that's, mounted to the side or to the bottom of it. Maybe they've got an expanded clip where it's a 30 shot magazine or more. And they look pretty rough. Now, this is Richard speaking as a growing gun enthusiast who has a son that is just enamored with them. We've been shooting a lot more lately. They're really cool. They're really cool. But I also come from a place where the thing that we, and when I say we, I'm talking about my wife and me, my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, friends that we occasionally shoot with, started from 5 years old, 3 years old with a BB gun, talking about gun safety. You want to see Jane Cross, and she's pretty level-headed. You want to see Jane Cross get fired up about something? Let a kid who has a gun not look like they even have the appearance of looking like they are not practicing gun safety. She was raised that way. I was raised that way, but have grown into that more as I've gotten older and have been around firearms more. So, but the argument of they look deadly, they look militaristic, is not an argument that holds any water. There is an argument that you might hear, well, they can be modified and turned into automatic weapons. There's a modified trigger, I've learned more about this recently, that can be placed on some firearms and some AR-15s. That's called an FRT trigger, forced reset. I think it's reset, recoil or reset. I think it's forced reset. And with that particular trigger, they get around the automatic designation, even though it functions like an automatic weapon. You pull the trigger one time and hold it down, and it functions like an automatic firearm, like a machine gun, if you will. But in actuality, there is a spring load that is causing that trigger to repeat fire when it is depressed, just at a pace that is faster than you can fire it over and over and over and over. Those are cool. They are, unless you are trying to do harm, they hold zero function other than to be on a gun range and go, man, that was cool. Lance, have you ever shot anything with an FRT?
No, not really, no.
So they make like a Taurus 22 pistol that you can put an FRT on. Shoots 22 rounds in like 3 seconds. On an AR-15, if you've got an FRT, it's capable of firing 700 rounds in a minute. For someone who is looking to do harm, that's a problem. But that's an exception rather than a rule, and so do you create a Supreme Court decision based on a small exception versus how it normally operates? I don't know the answer to that. There is no question that we have a mass violence problem that exists in the United States. School shootings, large gathering shootings, and the weapon of choice for most of these shootings are AR-style rifles. But the question, and I don't know that this is what the Supreme Court is going to be entertaining, the question is, do we have a gun problem or do we have an evil problem? Do we have a gun problem or do we have a mental health problem? Do we have a gun problem or do we have an access problem? Do we have a gun problem or do we have a background check problem? I shared with you not too terribly long ago, for my son's, one of his hunting rifles, we purchased a suppressor. Some people just call it a silencer. The rationale behind that was a 300 Win Mag is loud and it kicks like crazy. Never mind his 13-year-old shoulder, my 45-year-old shoulder. When we were trying to sight that rifle in, I walked away and I was sore from shooting that. 8 shots, 10 shots in a half an hour. And I know I should have spaced it out more than that. I get that from how you accurately sight in. It hurt. And I was like, you know what? We need to get a suppressor for this. There is a process for ordering a suppressor. There's a lot of information that you have to provide. There's a holding period, not as long as it used to be. There's a background check that goes along with that. There are a lot of people that want to argue against background checks or enhanced background checks. That is where I would start. And some of you would say, oh, no, Richard, when you say background check, you're infringing on my First Amendment. No, I'm not. I'm saying you have the right to bear arms. You have the right to own weapons. There's no reason we can't check people to make sure that, one, they don't have a criminal background, two, there's not a mental health issues background. Let's try and put some safeguards in place.
From the Seabrook Mississippi. Coffee, conversations, and clarity. What a great way to start your Mississippi day. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi.
Younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze, country roads, take me home to the place I belong.
A lot of U.S. soccer fans hoping to be singing this about 9:30 tonight. The United States and Bosnia will continue in World Cup action, round of 32. 7 o'clock opening kick for that match. It's in Santa Clara, California, at what normally is known as Levi's Stadium, the home of the San Francisco 49ers. That one is happening tonight, and Country Roads has somehow kind of become the unofficial anthem of this U.S. men's national team. Who knows? You might be at a 4th of July celebration over the weekend, and you hear Country Roads queued up on a turtle box or a sound system or whatnot, but there will be lots of other music and fireworks and all kinds of activities happening across the Mississippi Gulf Coast, or coastal Mississippi, as we sometimes like to call it. Judy Young, CEO with Coastal Mississippi Tourism, joins us this morning. Judy, good morning to you.
Good morning. You're looking very patriotic and like already in the picnicking environment.
Well, you know what? I am ready to go. I am ready to celebrate America 250, and I think a lot of other people are as well.
It's very exciting. We have 87 events on the docket for the next 10 days. So
87.
Yeah, 3 counties. Lots of folks having lots of fun.
Oh, I'm not going to ask you to list all 87 of those events. That I don't think we've got the time or the energy to do that. But give me a couple of highlights that stand out that people maybe in the southern part of the state, whether they live in those 3 counties or they're within an hour or so drive, might want to come in and kind of participate and be part of the festivities.
Well, we actually have the 78th annual Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo. It's going on for 3 days, and so we'll have sportsmen from across the Southeast participating in that. And it's always fun to be there at weigh-in and see what we're pulling out of the Great Gulf of America.
That, it's funny that you mentioned weigh-in, because that's what I was immediately going to go to. If you have never been to a big fishing rodeo weigh-in, you're missing out, because it's like a party atmosphere on the dock as those fish are coming in, the boats are coming in, everybody's having a good time. There's some really cool stuff to see.
There is, and if you're on the Gulf Coast, there at any given time in any place on Highway 90 over the 2nd through the 5th, you could see anywhere from 3 to 6 different fireworks displays going off. So it's really an opportunity for Mississippians especially, to be on a beach in their own state and see the 250th fireworks.
There was, I think it was Southern Living that came out with this a week or two ago. There were 2 Mississippi beach towns that were ranked as kind of bucket list must-do stops in Ocean Springs and Bay St. Louis. We talked about that a little bit last week. What a cool honor, and it feels, frankly, a little under the radar that you would have 2 towns on Mississippi's Gulf Coast that would be honored that way and kind of had, put on the radar of readers across the South and really across the country.
We have a great communications program, and our department's been working really hard over the last 4 years to position coastal Mississippi and our communities as the gems they are. And we're fortunate that we have been in those national publications 11 times in 3.5 years. That doesn't happen by accident. We host media all the time. We invite them into the communities, and we host them for anywhere from 2 to 5 days, take them across the coast. And, there's so much material here for them to write about, and the diversity that it bodes well. We're in Garden and Gun. We're in Southern Living, and we have, one year we had on earned media, I'm looking at this because it's a very big number. We had 801 articles that we got published with a $41.5 million media value. So that's how much it would have cost us to buy that coverage.
But you didn't spend $41.5 million.
We did not. It just is generated out of our communications department, which is four of the really most hardworking, dynamic. When you're in the tourism industry, it's a 24/7 job. Our attractions are open sometimes 365 a year. So we'll be working weekends.
There are people that live in the 3 counties on the coast that know what a jewel that it is. And some that would even say, let's stop telling everybody about this. Let's keep this to ourselves. But 82 counties in Mississippi, the entire Southeast, and so many people traditionally take vacations to beaches in Florida, or maybe they go to South Carolina, maybe they go to Alabama. For somebody who is, for whatever reason, they just want to check it out, it is their spot. Give me a sample weekend. You want to take a long weekend and go to coastal Mississippi, either for a vacation or just a weekend getaway. What would the itinerary be that you would recommend?
Well, any of the counties, you can pick your area that you're going to stay for your 3 to 5 days, because you can't do 3 counties, 12 cities, 87 events in 2 days.
Right.
So you pick your location, and then you're going to hub and spoke out of there. So, you can go from gaming and casinos and casino level entertainment. You can have the blues clubs. So basically you can do big game fishing, coastal fishing, birding, take the ferry out to Ship Island and see what the water's like on the other side of the barrier islands. It's absolutely stunning. In addition, you can go to the Maritime Museum and see amazing history on how the coast got to the position it is now and who got us here. It's really rich. And then you can move from the more populated areas of Gulfport and Biloxi into the charm of the smaller communities, as in Ocean Springs, Pascagoula. I mean, I'm not sure that anybody really understands that once you move to the east, you're going to be going through Jimmy Buffett's birthplace. You're going to be crossing over the bridge and looking to the right and seeing these incredible ships that are being built by up to 15,000 people, with a new brew pub at the Pascagoula train station. You will get to see the oldest structure in Mississippi with the Krebs House. And then as you move west, you're going to roll through some great communities like Long Beach and Pass Christian. And then you're going to go over the bridge to Bay St. Louis, all of which there's 27 miles of white sand beach. So if you don't want to move at all, you can just get your location and walk across 90, set up your camp, and settle in. So I think there's the opportunity for gaming. There's the opportunity for high-end entertainment, blues, and then, absorbing the history, pirates and plunder and all of those elements. I think it's just such a diverse opportunity for any of the Mississippians to realize all of the diversity in the state and what is in your own backyard.
And there's one thing you didn't mention: food. Lots and lots and lots of food options.
That's really at the basis of everyone's decisions, right?
Right. Where are we going to eat?
We have two Michelin mentioned chefs, Vestige in Ocean Springs and White Pillars in Biloxi. And then Siren Social Club was also mentioned, and it's in Gulfport. In addition to that, we have the Mississippi Gulf Coast seafood. Huge oysters, shrimp, finfish, With the new labeling that's been put in, you can see everything on the menus that was born and caught here.
That's
live
right.
Caught wild seafood. And, those chefs are all from the area, from the South, and grew up with home recipes. And then, of course, we have our new Robert St. John downtowner in Gulfport. Best pancakes I've ever had in my life. And my husband is thrilled with the biscuits and gravy and the chicken country fried steak. So, there's just something for everyone. We have incredible Vietnamese restaurants, and we have a crazy, interesting, fun Vietnamese huge supermarket. I love going in there because they have the greatest different candies out there. So if you want to round out your cultural stay with us and you're bringing your family, make a stop there and have like a smorgasbord and figure out which ones you like and what they actually taste like. In addition, we have some exceptional coffee and bakeries, French bakeries, Lebanese bakeries. You can get full.
You are not going to go hungry in coastal Mississippi. Make it part of your plans, whether it's this weekend for America 250, Independence Day, the 4th of July celebrations, 87 events, fireworks all over the place, or just pick a weekend later this summer or early into the fall. Judy Young, CEO with Coastal Mississippi Tourism, thanks so much, and happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day. Thank you.
Good morning from the...
Waking up to what matters. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Lord, have you forgotten me? I've been praying to you faithfully. I'm not saying...
C-Spire text line, Bubba in Starkville says, I just ate some Mississippi oysters for the first time. They were amazing.
They are. Love them straight out the bag. That's the best way to rock those babies out. Once you eat enough of them,
not
just
frozen.
No, straight out of the ocean with the salt water dripping out of the.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you said straight out of the bag.
Well, yeah, they come in a big, kind of mesh bag,
like a breathable mesh bag.
Yeah.
Look, I was sorry,
that's what
I was not tracking with you there. Appreciate Judy joining us. A lot going on. Coastal Mississippi over the next couple of days going into the holiday weekend. We will finish in just a moment with a kind of a lighthearted story that comes from the state fire marshal, who's always lighthearted, Mike Chaney. I mean, just salt of the earth guy. Full of humor all the time. I'm picking. We had a lot of fun with Mike Chaney the last time that he was on. It is very much going to be a do as I say, not as I do conversation. Very much so. But I want to say this. We will continue the conversation about the Supreme Court starting in October, hearing oral arguments on AR ban. This is just me thinking out loud. It's friendly advice. It's not telling you what to do. If you are a gun enthusiast and a Second Amendment stalwart, this is friendly advice, and you can do with it whatever you pay for it. Please don't get caught up in the technical nomenclature, because when you start saying things like, hey, you idiot, AR doesn't stand for assault rifle, it stands for Armalite. I understand that. You understand that. But that's kind of like arguing for or being mad when somebody says or used to say 13th check as it pertains to the way PERS operates with their distribution of payments and the cost of living allowance increase that happens year over year. When people give you, it's not a 13th check, don't call it a 13th check, it's COLA. You lose me because it's the way everybody describes them. I recognize that AR does not mean assault rifle. Not many people in the United States doing. And so if your argument is around semantics, you will lose the argument 100% of the time. And people are just going to roll their eyes. Like, I recognize what you are saying. But if somebody doesn't use just the right wording to try and get their point across, well, actuallying them doesn't help whatever your argument is, whether it's for, speaking out against AR bans in certain places, wanting the Supreme Court to rule one way or the other. Like that's not the crux of the conversation. It's just not. And I tell you where I think we can get to a decent place on this. I believe that our Second Amendment rights can be protected, can even be enhanced when they are coupled with some common sense stuff that goes along with it. Now, there are those diehard supporters and those ardent supporters who are like, no, it's a slippery slope if you put... I understand. I understand. But I don't think being militant about your beliefs gets us to an effective and a constitutionally protected end game on the conversation. And look, it's no different than the person we got a message on here just a few minutes ago. Like, there's no need for, like, I've got deer rifles. There's no need. Nobody hunts with an AR. It's not true. There are people all over Mississippi that hunt with ARs because it's a gun that they like, because it looks cool, because it shoots well, because of, the list of why people like these guns is long and distinguished. All right. We'll stop there. We will pick that up. I just want to do this because I think it's going to be fun. Mike Cheney says, be careful with fireworks. There are a lot of them going on. There are some places that don't allow fireworks. If you live in a city that does not allow fireworks and you shoot fireworks and it causes a fire, there is a chance that insurance will not cover your loss. He gave 12 recommendations for safety with fireworks. Lance, I am ashamed to say that 10 of them I am in violation of.
You're missing your pinky finger.
Always read and follow directions. Never point or throw fireworks at another person. That means no bottle rocket wars. Buy from reliable fireworks sellers. Always have an adult present when shooting. Put used fireworks in a bucket of water and have a hose ready. Only use fireworks outdoors. Light only one item at a time and stay at a safe distance. Never experiment or attempt to make your own fireworks. Never reignite malfunctioning fireworks. Never give them to small children. Never carry them in your pocket. Never shoot in metal or glass containers. Be careful, folks. Use your brain. Talk to you tomorrow.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.